Israel-Palestine conflict, the origins of which go back more than a century, is extremely complex, and whilst I've ignored all the sanctimonious people in my circles telling me I have a duty to educate myself on and speak up about a war happening thousands of miles away, which I have no part in and no influence over, from my admittedly limited understanding, it's not black and white with one side clearly in the right and the other clearly in the wrong. There have been acts of aggression and many deaths on both sides. Obviously, I'm against war and think it's symptomatic of an even bigger problem, that whilst the human race has made incredible advances scientifically and technologically, the collective psyche is primitive and tribal. We are spiritually moribund, fighting over land and, ironically, whose characterization of God is the right one, teaching children that it's okay to exploit, abuse and kill non-human animals based on morally arbitrary trait differences, and failing to understand that this belief system carries over into our treatment of each other. There are wars going on all over the world, but this one in particular has become the cause du jour. The current thingers have replaced the Ukrainian flags in their Facebook profile photos for Palestinian ones and have been taking to the streets to protest in significant numbers. Palestine Action has taken much bolder direct action and as a result has been prescribed under the Terrorism Act. Whilst I don't support Palestine Action, and not just because I'm not allowed and would be guilty of a thought crime if I did, I also don't support the government's decision to prescribe the group. In my view, it's an egregious offence against civil liberties, equates protest with terrorism, and sets a very dangerous precedent. It's the latest move in the government's blatant agenda to criminalise dissent and implement a totalitarian state. Sure enough, it's already emboldened the police to further target peaceful protesters with their moronic, authoritarian conflation of support for Palestine with support for Palestine Action. The following footage was recorded in Canterbury, Kent, and wherever you stand on the Israel-Palestine war, it should terrify and enrage you in equal measure.
What's your intention here today?
My intention is to wave this flag and keep Palestine in the public consciousness right now.
Okay. So do you support any prescribed group?
I do not support any prescribed group.
Okay.
I support a free Palestine and the end of genocide.
Okay. Can I get your details?
Am I required to give them to you?
Well, you may be committing an offence at the moment, so I just need to make sure that you're legit.
What offence?
Well, as you're aware, obviously it's now become an offence to obviously support a prescribed group like Palestine Action.
Yeah, but I don't have anything on which says that.
The police force really does comprise of automatons with zero capacity for critical thinking, programmed to seek out and silence anyone exercising their right to freedom of speech and expression. The protester is peacefully advocating for Palestinians when this robot cop asks for his details despite having no grounds. He can't even give him a straight answer as to whether or not he's legally required to do so and why. He says that he suspects the protester of committing an offence, but that suspicion has to be objective and justifiable, based on observed behaviour, facts, information, intelligence, etc., and it's clear that the protester has done nothing to warrant genuine suspicion. The constable goes on to say it's an offence to support a prescribed group, namely Palestine Action, when the protester has already explicitly stated he does not support any prescribed group and he has nothing on or with him to suggest otherwise.
Appreciate that, but the way that you're behaving at the moment would lead me to believe that you may be.
What the fuck is he talking about? The way that he's behaving? This is just madness.
Give me suspicion
What?
grounds to believe you could be.
What suspicion? That I've got a sign that says Free Gaza, I'm holding a Palestinian flag, and I have a sign that says Israel is committing genocide.
Yeah.
Something
But
which is, by the way...
You're also distracting the traffic, which may cause an accident. That's also another offence you're committing.
When you think he couldn't be any more ridiculous, he comes out with the completely made-up offence of holding a sign which could cause an accident. The onus is on the driver to maintain focus on the road. Someone carrying out lawful activity can't be held responsible for their failure to do so. By this copper's logic, roadside billboards should be illegal and anyone wearing a particularly attention-grabbing outfit could be liable for arrest. What a stupid constable.
Right, okay.
So I've got a reason to take your name.
Do I have to give
You're
it?
actually potentially committing a public order offence as well.
And now he's pulling public order out of his arse, making the law up as he goes along. This is straight up harassment and abuse of power, and I really hope the protester files a complaint and a lawsuit against Kent Police.
What do you mean potentially? I don't understand. I mean, if either not am or not, right?
We'll go about this two ways, right? My colleagues explained that the support of this, mentioning freedom of Gaza, Israel, genocide, all of that,
Yeah.
all will come under prescribed groups, which are terror groups that have been dictated by the government, all right, which we have suspicion to suggest that you're supporting, based on your actions here in a city with the flags and the posters you've got
Right.
up, right? To deal with this the best way possible for everyone is to take your details and have you on your way, all right?
In comes dipshit number 2 with quite the word salad, unable to comprehend that support for Palestine is not necessarily concomitant with support for Palestine action. It's deeply concerning that he thinks using words like freedom for Gaza, Israel and genocide whilst being in a city, whatever that has to do with anything, is a criminal offence. It's such an appalling overreach and violation of the protesters' fundamental rights. And who is he to decide that it's best for everyone that the protester gives over his details? I would argue that it's best for everyone except the demonic leaders he so mindlessly serves, that we don't become a papers please country.
If you don't provide us with your name and address, those are necessities for us to arrest you for offences against the Terrorism Act for being part of a prescribed group.
Before necessity for arrest comes into play, the police need grounds for arrest, a genuine and reasonable suspicion that a crime has taken place or is about to take place, and nothing they've raised suffices.
So if we can take your name and your address, and then you can be on your way, we can leave it as that, and if you go about something a different day, it'll be dealt with a different day. But for today now, on this busy roundabout rush hour where we don't want an accident to happen, that's how we want to deal with it. Is take your details and leave. Failing that, you may render yourself liable to arrest in order for us to deal with it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
That makes sense. That's how we want to deal with this.
Okay.
Because we want to keep traffic going and not have to leave you in a cell. If we can take your details, someone will be in touch and they'll deal with it another way. Are you happy to give us your details and then be on your way so that we can deal with it that way?
On the basis of that,
Yeah?
then I will
Does that
give you
make
the
sense? Because those are
details.
necessities, and if you give us those, we don't have those necessities to arrest you. Does that
Right.
make sense?
He continues pressurising and manipulating the protester for his details, threatening him with arrest and being left in a cell, making out that acquiescing to his unreasonable and unlawful demand is the easy option. Giving up your rights and freedoms is never the easy option, and if it was me, I would take the arrest, sue the force, and go after these two cunt collars.
I bet it's providing you will identify yourself as
I am.
well.
I'm PC 15712 from Nackington Police Station.
Can I see your badge number?
I have an SG number on there.
And could you identify yourself, please?
14410, PC Loft.
Thank you. This is only for my safety.
That's fine. We have both of ours going as well.
This isn't going online.
There's
Something like that.
cameras around, and we have cameras.
We appreciate where you're
people
doing
have
it, it's not
cameras.
appropriate, because you've slowed the traffic down, distracting drivers.
Right.
You're doing this in the city centre for some
But if
reason.
I do this in the city centre, are you guys going to come back and tell me that I'm now potentially committing a terrorist offence because I have the flag of another country and I'm pointing out
Having a flag of another country, you can have a Greek flag and it just be a flag. But
Right.
you don't just have a flag.
No, I don't. I have free Gaza
We also have to think
and a
about
statement of fact.
We also have to think about your safety.
In the middle of the day, plenty of
We
people
to
have been
think
very
about your safety.
supportive.
There's plenty of people that don't agree with your cause.
And there are plenty of people which do.
I'm sure there is, but if there isn't, and you come across that person
Yeah.
who's going to take exception to it.
Then I better run. And that's my problem, that's not your problem. The other
Well, it is our problem, because
then-
will they have to come back out again?
Did you see how smug the first goon looked when he feigned concern for the protesters' safety, thinking it was a really smart move? He sounds mental. It's just wild that he's suggesting that the protester can't exercise his Article 10 and 11 rights because others might not agree with his cause and consequently attack him. It's the protester's risk to take as a fully grown adult with autonomy, and if anyone did assault him, the police would then have the genuine grounds for arrest that they're so desperate to find here. He says of the protesters' hypothetical assault and then would have to come back out, as if that would be such a chore for him. Arresting actual criminals is your job, you dickbag.
You'll just stay silent then. When we see things injustice in the world, we just stay silent and stay at
discuss
home.
the whys and what follows and the rights and wrongs of why you're here.
Yeah, but I
Right?
still have
But
the.
what way
I am
you
still
advise,
able to stay out,
We've described. This is
Right.
not an appropriate place to be doing what you're doing.
so I can go over there and do it.
I haven't got a problem with that. But
This idiot is so inconsistent. He previously claimed the protester was supporting a prescribed group, a criminal offence that would still apply no matter where the protester stood. Yet he says he'd have no problem if the protester simply moved a short distance away, which exposes the fact that he doesn't truly believe any terrorism laws are being broken. So what's his real issue? Pure ego and bias.
Just need to put them out.
Right, here you go. So I'll tell you the offences that we've been asked to deal with things like this. So you've got to belong or profess to belong to a prescribed organisation.
Which I have not.
So Palestinian Action, and you haven't, all right?
And you can't prove that I do belong.
Invite support for a prescribed organisation. You haven't.
No.
Express an opinion or belief that is supportive of a prescribed organisation. Now that you have done.
But that's ridiculous. You could end up arresting half the country
I
for
didn't make
that.
the legislation. That is the legislation.
He must have been dropped on his head as a baby because something up there isn't working. It's an offence to declare or encourage support for Palestine action. It's not an offence to declare or encourage support for Palestine. It's not a subtle difference, and either the officer is so incredibly thick that he really shouldn't be wearing that uniform, or whether following orders or of his own volition, he's deliberately misrepresenting the legislation for another purpose.
Right, so that's extremely
why we
broad.
Your details,
right.
And that's why if we take your details and we tell you to leave,
okay.
we'll tell you not to carry on this down the high street. The high street's the better place.
The high street would be the better place to carry out what I've just told you is terrorist activity. You couldn't make it up.
Because it's not a road, we're going to tell you not to take your details and be on our way. If you're found down the high street later on, you'll probably find yourself arrestable for that offence. Because you've been warned not to.
So I can never do this again in Canterbury, in Kent.
It's an offence.
Now it's an offence for me to hold this.
So Palestine Action, which I get you're not saying you're part of, is a prescribed group. It's been dictated by the government as a terror group.
I have to seek legal aid on this then.
I don't make the legislation, and we as a force, this is the guidance that's been put out, is to express an opinion or belief that is supportive of a prescribed organisation, namely Palestine Action, is an offence under Section 12, 1A of the Terrorism Act 2000.
Wow.
Right? I don't know the exact wording of it. That's what we've been given, and that's what I'm telling you. We've been told, and I'm telling you, you'll probably be dealt with. We'll take your name and address now, which removes our necessity to arrest you now.
And what does that mean, dealt with? I'm now going to get arrested?
No, if you give us your name and address, and you go on your way and you don't carry this on, that'll be the end of it. If you're later found carrying on here or anywhere else, you'll likely be arrested for that offence. Because we'll have a record that we've stopped you here but let you on your way.
But now I can never hold this in public ever again.
Holding a flag, if you had just a flag, we'd probably say, be careful what you do.
Free Gaza?
Free Gaza, which is supportive
what
of
about that?
action, and the sign of Israel committing genocide would be in line with...
What you're doing is giving us suspicion. We only need 2 out of 10 to give us suspicion that you support a Palestinian.
Amazing.
That's it.
Right. That's so
You agree that we are trying to be fair about it. We could have jumped out, arrested you, dragged you off in a van. You haven't. Distraction of the car. That's why we want to deal with this.
Okay.
So you understand everything that we've said.
I do understand.
And you think that what we're doing is reasonable, given all the options available to us.
Personally, I don't think it's reasonable, but you're going to carry on. So I'm going to comply. I'm going to comply.
The options are to take your details and you go, or arrest you.
Well, that's what I'm going to do then.
Exactly.
Faced with those options,
He then tries to gaslight the protester into conceding on camera that they're being fair and reasonable. Utterly disgraceful. Shame on these constables and shame on Kent Police. The recording stops abruptly at this point, and I can only assume the protester, under considerable pressure, gave his details and walked away. We are teetering on the edge of full-blown state tyranny and censorship. I cannot stress enough how crucial it is that we resist and don't fall for the divide and conquer tactic. Standing up to power is intimidating, but it pales in comparison to the nightmare dystopian world they're trying to impose. The cost of silence is far greater than the risk of defiance.